I want to ask you that you've pretty much, if you remember a couple of months ago, the minorities had actually, given what we can call the Charter of Demands, and the Congress has actually delivered on it, to a great extent. But my question will remain what it has remained for many parties, and like I said, Sham, I'm not really sitting on judgment. Look at Abdullah Sheikh Sohail. He left your party and he said very, very clearly how it was getting very difficult for him to kind of, function in that party. He is now, of course, with the BRS in a meeting with KTR. He ditched me today. Also, Kaleemuddin, Baba Kaleemuddin, he is also leader of the Congress party. They said, money has exchanged hands. They said the Congress is not interested in the minorities. The Congress is only interested in winning election. Syamprasad Meka, the floor is yours. Go ahead, explain.
Good evening, Sudha.
Hi.
See, Congress is not interested in any specific section. Congress is interested in the welfare of the state of Telangana and its people. Yeah, there is a minority declaration. If you ask me, I would say the declaration should be more or less focusing on the issues which have their root cause because of the minority. The normal issues are for everybody. So if you want to give a good health care, it's for minority, majority. Everybody should get a good health care. Everybody should get a good education. Those things should be left out of any declarations, and the declarations should focus on specificities. Like because you are a minority, we might miss out looking your perspective sometimes. So to take care of that, I think as a democratic society, we need to pay special attention to such issues. And there is a declaration that came out from Congress party, and Congress party actually, for a change, is not afraid of BJP's strategy to come out and now paint Congress as some sort of a minority only party, right? So they will try to polarize, but Congress is no more afraid of such tactics. We do what
Sham,
we
if I may
believe
also
is right.
ask you, that, for instance, Abdullah Sheikh Sohail, one of the grouses, I interviewed him, one of the grouses he had was that why is it being delayed like this? First of all, I am not going to talk about all the allegations, money exchanging hands, cash for tickets and all that makes no sense. But why was it delayed? I mean, what was the delay all about? I know Shabbir Ali Saab was helping. That's what I've heard, that Shabbir Ali Saab was very much, now who's gone from Kammareddy to Nizamabad. I mean, he shifted and we'll have to see what it does. But the point, not that because Nizamabad has a huge, minority population, but what actually explains the delay? Because you see, because it concerns those who are in minority, any kind of delay is misconstrued.
No. So, see, we can understand the anxiety of people, but see, Congress party as a national party cannot simply dole out a promise just like that, like any of the other parties, just to woo votes. We will double check the finances, check the legality. We will check if it is morally correct or not. So some of these decisions will take time. Sure, it will, because Congress party functions like India functions. Everybody, I have a different perspective. You have a different perspective. Somebody else have a different perspective. All these thoughts need to play against each other, and then Congress party comes out with a stand. Sometimes it is seen as indecisiveness, and people might get frustrated with it, saying it's a delay. But that's how the country need to function.
All right.
It's not just like yeah, I know everything, I'm going to make this decision, right? So that's not how Congress
All right.
works.
Okay. I mean,
That's not how.
fair enough. Fair enough. And ladies and gentlemen, those who've just joined the South Indian, this is the question we are asking. The Congress's Muslim outreach, considering they are out with the minority declaration, which was long awaited, and that is what today the South Indian is discussing. It is not going to be shouting and screaming. That does not happen on this show. We are just going to sit across each other like matured individuals and speak about it. Roydin Roach, if he has joined us, may I have him on the screen? All right, we shall wait for him. Bhanuchandar Nagarajan, political analyst, is with us. You know, Bhanuchandar, you know, I call me cynical, you know, but the thing is that it all sounds very good, you know, on paper, and optics are important after all. But then the thing is, how much of it gets delivered? Because I am going to ask you, what happened to the 12% reservation made by KCR Garu? It is nowhere to be seen, except for Shadi Mubarak. Let me tell you, none of these other, whether it is scholarship, whether it is kind of giving them some fillip, nothing has worked, and there is no leader in Telangana. Let us not beat around the bush. Who's had the support of the minorities, Banu? Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, Sudha. First of all, like, we have to discuss the public morality of targeting specific castes and specific religions with SOPs during elections. Okay, we will discuss that obviously as we go later, but I just wanted to have a dispassionate look at why they have come up with this. First is like maybe this is a strategy that juxtaposes with the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas strategy of BJP. Here they are actually particularly focused on a particular target group to see whether it works. Okay, so they tried it in Karnataka, and I do not know where they won because of that, but they won. For example, like in the Karnataka manifesto, they said that they will ban Bajrang Dal. Okay. Second is obviously they are targeting the minority votes, and especially the Greater Hyderabad area, which is usually cornered by the AMMIM. I just wonder whether this splitting of votes, especially the Greater Hyderabad area between BRS, Congress, and AMMIM, is actually going to help the BJP. And also, this counter polarization in other areas is also a possibility. So I just wonder how they have come up with this scheme and thought about this. Other point that I want to come is like what the issue that you have raised, right? So whether they make so many of these announcements, infrastructure, scholarship, so on and so forth. First of all, will they stand the test of constitution and the legalities? That is something that we have to see. But also another quick point is like within the minority declaration, they have also included caste census. So I don't know whether it is poorly drafted or whether it is wordplay. This happened in Bihar also. In the caste census, they said 83% is OBC, but they also had Muslims in it. So it's a bit confusing on what they even when they say minority, what do they even have in mind? These are the things that have to be thought about. And another thing is, I don't think BJP is going to just keep quiet on this. They are going to make noise, and also this will be carried to 2024. That is the
All right.
strategy that they are following in Tamil Nadu. Just 10
Yeah.
seconds. In Tamil Nadu, what is happening is like there is this anti-North Indian politics and the anti-Sanatana Dharma politics that is happening. That is localized to Tamil Nadu, but BJP is taking it to the rest of India. So maybe they will follow this strategy with Telangana as well. Back to you.
I have to ask you a question, Bhanuchandar, and that is, you
Sure.
know, the Madigas. I mean, the Prime Minister, it's on the anvil that he is going to, you know, announce the subcategorization of scheduled castes at a public meeting, of course, and this has to do with the Madigas, who constitute 60% of Telangana's population. They can actually sway votes till almost 20 to 25 assembly seats. You know, also, do you think that this is a strategy of the BJP that will kind of land, and particularly Bhanuchandar, do you think that it will come up as a counter to the Dalit Bandhu scheme of KCR and BRS?
So that will come through the SC/ST commission. I don't think the government unilaterally can announce it, and if that is the case, that is the proper procedure. So this is the minority declaration that Congress has come up with. It doesn't follow those constitutional niceties, right? It is just a public announcement through a manifesto. So I think there is substantial difference, and we should wait for that announcement because like we have to see the details of how it is being drafted.
But in case the announcement is made, what do you think, you know, does it work? Does it land?
Yeah, so I think we have to study it, Sudha. Like I don't want to comment on it right now.
All right. Now, let me welcome Mr. Prasad also into the discussion. Mr. Prasad, you know, the thing is that KCR Garu has this great ability and talent that he actually micromanages communities. You know, so there is Brahmin Bhavan, there is Christian Bhavan, so on and so forth. So, it is not a kind of a huge umbrella, but he breaks it down, you know, much like, if I may say, going back in history, what the colonial masters did to us. I want to ask you, what happened to his 12%? You know, you remember his announcement in Shadnagar where he said, I promise you, I will make, you know, 12% quota will be implemented. Now, how come that he never fulfilled that promise? I mean, considering that the minorities, I mean, if you look at it, they can sway the votes in 40 constituencies and they do have a kind of a presence in Telangana.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to the panelists.
Hi.
And it's very clear and evident as far as some political leaders and the political heads are concerned. They smartly say certain promises before elections, and when it comes to execution, it's quite impossible. And that's why in the national wide, this SC/ST subplan and minority subplan, if it is properly implemented, that itself is more than adequate. But there are people of regional parties or people that belongs to the respective state territories. They smartly announce these sort of things, and when it comes to execution, the practical problems will arise, and obviously they couldn't fulfill in full time. Alternatively, they create some sort of Shadi Mubarak and some sort of 1 lakh announcements and other things will take place, and it will go on and go on and go on, and finally before elections, people like you will give a large mouth for it, and obviously they have to give all sort of explanations finally. And here in Telangana, one big issue is taking place, like, you know, MIM party is smartly supporting BRS, that itself is a big flag for them. And with that, they can smartly survive in these elections. That's what the best equations which they are planning and playing against people around. And when it comes to the minority, these things are the 12% promises when it has not been fulfilled this time again. They smartly says at the time of Rajshekar Reddy, they tried and somehow it has not happened. When it Congress wants to do something, finally it has not happened. And this declaration is also just in paper. One of our panelists said very clearly, when it comes to paper, people write so many stories. But execution is the biggest challenge in national wide.
That's what,
If some
yeah,
state
yeah.
implements,
You've nailed it, Mr. Prasad, you've nailed it.
yeah,
It's execution, it's delivery, which is a big question mark, Mr. Prasad. And that is what I was asking Bhanu Chandar, and this is what my whole problem is. Optics are great, Mr. Prasad. Where is
yeah.
the delivery?
There is no question of delivery. But if, say, for instance, if you have a pain in your leg, they'll give us treatment to the hand. And that's how the political game and gimmicks are taking place. And obviously, when it comes to this, it's the real need of people are not being addressed. This is what the biggest thing which was taking place in motherland. And Congress colleague is said, we are the people, Indian representatives. India is with a lot of people and a lot of parties with huge tolerance. And that's how the tolerance has come into the ignorantly, and they're smartly saying about this sort of, paper making situations that 4,000 crores will be given to the minorities. Whatever is being implemented by the state politics, state parties, they're adding +1 and -1. This is how the things are taking place. In the smart way, the real minority people and SC/ST subplan is being implemented. Everybody, Mandakishna Madiga from Telangana is breaking his head for minorities, this thing, from years together. Nothing is happening. Whoever comes and they're sharing the dash and they're smartly saying, we will do it for your sake. End of the day, that Mala Madiga communities have been breaking their heads for these things. As long as these things are taking place in the respective states, there is no question of anticipating some sort of outcome in this.
Right. Of course, we have yet another guest who's joined us, and I will introduce him to you in a bit. But Roydin Roach, if I can have Roydin Roach, senior political analyst, on the screen. Mr. Roach, you know, you're the best person, because when we talk about all these SOPs, first of all, I want your comment, of course, before I jump into the second question. Is, what do you think about this minority declaration? For me, it's pretty much ticking every box that the minorities had said they want, from Waqf board and, their land which has been encroached upon, to scholarships. It seems like the Congress has said absolutely what the minorities want to hear. Would you agree, Mr. Roach?
Well, good evening, viewers. There's a lot of disturbance from your side. I can't hear well.
Okay. May I request the production
I think something
team?
from the audio. Yeah, production team. There's some problem
Yeah,
in the audio.
production teams. So, sir, if you can you? Is it okay for you to speak now, or should I wait for you, sir?
No. The problem is I can hear this in the background for noise from the production team.
We'll just rectify it. Let me go to Sheikh Mohammed Kaleemuddin Saab,
Yeah, please.
who of course left the Congress. Sheikh Mohammed Kaleemuddin Saab, आपको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही? मोहम्मद कलीमुद्दीन साहब, आपको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही?
जी मैडम, आ रही है आवाज़, आ रही, मेरी आ रही है आपको आवाज़?
जी आ रही है, और आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है शो में। मेरा आपसे ये सवाल है कि जब आपको मैंने इंटरव्यू किया था, आपकी बहुत शिकायतें थी कांग्रेस के लिए। अब ये जो माइनॉरिटी डिक्लेरेशन आया है पार्टी की तरफ से, आप उसके बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
देखिए मैडम, डिक्लेरेशन एक अलग चीज है। मुसलमानों को आपने हक क्या दिया, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है
जी।
आप मुसलमानों को, रेवंत रेड्डी जी ने पूरा कुचलने का काम किया। रेवंत रेड्डी जी अगर चाहते तो मुसलमानों को, हमारी डिमांड क्या थी उनसे, हम बोल रहे थे कि मुसलमान असेंबली में जाए, वो एमआईएम का साथ ना दे, एमआईएम को छोड़े और एमआईएम के बीच में गठबंधन ना करे, और मुसलमान जो है असेंबली के अंदर जाए। कम से कम तेलंगाना के अंदर 10 से 11 सीट मुसलमानों को देनी चाहिए थी। हमारा मुद्दा यही था, और हम ये चाह रहे थे कि आप जो भी देंगे, आप बताइए 2008 में, 2006 में एक माइनॉरिटी का फंड रिलीज हुआ था राज सेक्रेटरी साहब के पीरियड में, तो वो 21,000 करोड़ रुपए, 2100 करोड़ रुपए हुआ था। वो फंड वापस गया। ये सम्मेलन के अंदर जो शब्बीर अली साहब का डिक्लेरेशन था 5,000 करोड़, और फिर ये लाके बोलते कि 4,000 करोड़, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं ये भी मुसलमानों के लिए चॉकलेट और धोखा है। उससे
तो ये बताइए कलीमुद्दीन साहब, ये बताइए कि आपने कांग्रेस की बात की और कहा कि ये सब ढकोसला है, वो कुछ देते वगैरह नहीं है, लेकिन ढकोसला अगर है तो केसीआर गारू ने क्या किया आपके साथ? 12% का रिजर्वेशन आपका वादा करके वादा खिलाफी की आपके साथ, ये भी तो सच है।
अब हम तो पहले तो केसीआर साहब के खिलाफ ही हम कांग्रेस के अंदर जो है मुसलमानों को हक मिलता बोल के कोशिश कर रहे थे, लेकिन अब तो हम खुला रेवंत रेड्डी जी के लिए भी बोल रहे हैं कि ये जो है मुसलमानों को एक चॉकलेट देने का काम कर रहे हैं, और इससे ज्यादा कुछ भी नहीं है। और ये जितने भी आप TWC की मीटिंग के जो बड़े बड़े लोग लाए और मुसलमानों के आइडियल जिनको मानते थे, आज वो तेलंगाना का मुसलमान वो आइडियल को बोलता है कि लोग हमारे लिए खेल खेल दिए और कुछ भी नहीं करे। आप देखिए, जो बंदे मुस्लिम जो कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता है जो मुसलमानों के बीच में जा रहे थे, आपको अच्छे से याद होगा कि बाबरी मस्जिद के इशू के बाद पूरे हिंदुस्तान का मुसलमान कांग्रेस से अलग हो गया।